So here I am. So let's start with lecture number one, Introduction to Political Science. Okay. So in this lecture, we'll be discussing these six topics. So this is basically the structure of lecture. First, we will discuss why should you study political science. Then we will discuss what is political science. Then we'll discuss different definition by different political thinkers. Then we will just dive in the derivation of the word politics. And on the fifth number, there it is, why politics at all. And on the sixth, we will conclude what we have learned in this video, right? So the first, we should really understand why we should study political science, right? Here I have mentioned four main reasons, but the fifth main reason, I would say, is CSS, right? So you have to study political science in order to clear CSS exam, or to understand what CSS is about, and many other things as well, right? It will help you in your essay writings as well. Okay, coming to the topic here. So why should you study political science? The first reason is to understand how government works, right? Political science provides a comprehensive understanding. Here I've written, political science provides a comprehensive understanding of how government operates, the different forms of government, and there are different forms of government that we will be discussing in the future videos. There are aristocratic form of government, there are dictatorial form of government, there are totalitarian form of government, there are democratic form of government, and many others, right? So what political science gives you, the political science basically gives you the idea and comprehensive understanding of how government operates, the different form of government, and the process that lead to decision making, right? So you have to retain this information: government, how government works, what are form of government, and the process that lead to decision making, right? This is where political science helps you. The second reason is it will help you to analyze current events, right? You must have seen this Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. There was Ukraine war, and there are terrorist attacks happening in Pakistan also. So what happens when you study political science? Political science helps you to analyze current events. Political science helps individuals to understand and analyze current political events, how policymakers are making their policy, and what is the reason behind their decision making, and what are the reasons why there are policies in our country. So it helps you to understand the political events, the policies, and the issues, right? It provides you a deeper understanding of the world. The third reason is basically it makes you an informed and active citizen, right? After studying political science, you will get the clear cut idea and the understanding about the politics, and it will apparently will make you informed and active citizen, right? So here I have written, studying political science empowers individuals to become informed and active citizens who can engage in political discussions, right, and make informed decisions about the issues that affect their communities and the world. So what it is saying that political science basically empowers you, right? As an individual, you become informed citizen and active citizen because you have grasp over the concepts of political science, and it helps you to engage in political discussions and you make informed decisions. The fourth one is to it helps you to understand power and authority, right? Political science explores the distribution of power and authority within society and how it affects the individuals and groups, right? It basically gives you the idea what power is and what is authority, and how power and authority is basically making your life decisions. I mean, everything, whatever you are doing in a country somehow is controlled by powerful people and the people who are in authority, right? So the political science subject helps you to understand what is, who are the people who have high authority and who are powerful entities in the state. So here it is. what is political science? Now you have got the idea why one should study political science, and what are the reasons. I would say, countless reasons why one should study political science, but these were the four main reasons that I really thought that you should know, right? You should at least have the idea. So, what is political science? I've written two definitions here. These are general definitions. Basically, political science is an interdisciplinary social science. Political science is what? Political science is an interdisciplinary social science that studies theory and practice of government, politics, and power. So these are some of the terms that what is this political theory, what are practices of government, and what is politics and power, and all this we'll be discussing in future videos. But for now, you have to just get idea what political science is, right? You have to just get the general idea what political science is about, right? It analyzes it analyzes the system, process, and actors involved in politics, policy making, and at the local, national, and international levels, right? So political science is basically interdisciplinary social science. There are theories in political science that we'll be studying in future videos. So political science basically deals with the practice of government, politics, power, and system, process, and actors who are involved in politics. See, we will be discussing this word politics in this video. So do not worry what politics is about and what is politics. So here the second definition. Now it is quite interesting definition. Why you will just get an idea after completing the whole video. Political science is a systemic study. Now, what is systemic study? What is science basically? Science is systemic study of anything, right? So here are two words: political and science. Political and science. Political science is basically the science is a systemic study. If you break down, because we are going to break down these both words as well. So political science is a systemic study. Political science is a science, right, of state or government, right? State or government are both, which is a power structure making authoritative decision and allocating resources and values for internal security development and external. Basically, it is a kind of it is vast definition. So here you just get the idea what this is about, because when we go through the all slides, you will get the a sophisticated idea what this definition is about. Right? We will come on this definition later. So here it is the origin of the term political science. The term political science originates from the Greek word polis. Actually, I have mistaken here. I made mistake here. This is not words. This is word. The term political science originates from the Greek word polis, meaning what does it mean? It is polis means city state, and scientia. What does it mean? Knowledge, right? Knowledge or systemic study of anything. So what does it say? Political science originates from polis. Polis means city state, and scientia means knowledge, right? The term was used in late 19th century to describe systemic study of the state. The term was used to describe the systemic study of state and government. Here are some different definitions by different political thinkers and philosophers. The first definition is, see, we have discussed the general definition of the political science, right? But here are some definitions by different experts of this field. Dr. Stephen Leacock was a Canadian teacher and a political scientist. He was also writer and humorist, right? So what he says about political science, he says that political science deals with government. So according to him, he's only speaking about government, right? Government basically it is one of the element of state we'll be discussing later, but you should have the idea. State is something else, government is part of the state, and government is basically the kind of spokesperson for the state. Government represent a state, right? So he said that political science deals with government, right? The second definition by Professor James Wilford Garner says that political science begins and ends with the state. He said that political science is basically is about a state. If there is no state, there is no concept of political science. So who was Professor James was a political scientist, and there's another political thinker here, the Paul Janet. Now Paul Janet was a French philosopher and writer. Paul Janet says that political science is the part of social sciences, that part of social sciences. So you have to put emphasis on this, that part of social sciences which treats the foundation of state and principles of government. He basically said that political science is that part of social sciences, right, which treats the foundation of state and principles of government. So he's mentioning two things here. The first one is state, the second thing is government, right? Professor James only just talked about state, and Stephen Leacock only talked about government, right? So he's just putting these both ideas in one definition, one from James Silver and second from Leacock, right? There it is here it is treats the foundation of state and principle of government. Full definition is from Brunchley. Branchley, who is Branchley? Branchley, his full name is Jonan Casper Branchley, also known as Casper. Whatever, I cannot simply pronounce his this Casper thing, but you get the idea. He was a Swiss jurist and politician. What does he say? He says political science. He defines political science as its science which is concerned with the state. The first thing you should notice here, concerned with the state, endeavors to understand and comprehend the state, right? He's putting more emphasis on the word state and its fundamental condition, how state is, what kind of government state have, and all this. This is basically talking about the fundamental condition basically here. What is the essential nature and various form of manifestation and development. So you should at least you should get the idea because it is important. Branchley is talking about state, right? Again about state, and he also said that it is political science is a science which is concerned with the state and various form of manifestation and development, right? So he's again talking about these two things, state. Actually, the one thing actually the state and state. Here is another political thinker. Here it is Harold Dwight Laswell. He was an American political scientist and communication theorist. He was professor of law at Yale University. So what does he say? Political science is primarily concerned with who gets it. It's quite a interesting definition. Now he's saying that political science is primarily concerned with who gets what and how. Here is David Easton. Now, who was David Easton? David Easton was a Canadian-born political scientist, right? He was born in 1917 and died in 2014. Davidson defines political science as the study of those actions more or less directly related to making authoritative allocation of resources and values. So you should notice here he is talking about authoritative allocation of resources, and the same thing Harold mentions here in his definition: who gets what and how. Right? They both are talking about the power, right? Power and resources. So here he's saying that politics and study of those actions more or less related to making authoritative allocation of resources. So they both are mainly talking about resources. There's scarcity of resources, and he also talks about values. So the crux of all definitions I have written over here. The all definitions talk about state power and government, right? Stephen Leacock, he talks about government. James Wilford begins and ends with state. There's Paul Janet, foundation of state. Bunchley, state, right? Somehow power. Herald, he talks about the scarcity of resources, limited resources, right? And also power. Now, I mean, there should be someone or some authority who will distribute the resources, right? And that particular authority will choose who gets what and how. There, David Easton, right? He says political science is the study of those actions more or less related to making authoritative allocation of resources. So he's also talking about resources and power. So you can see over here, political science is basically about three things according to all these definitions I mentioned here. There are six definitions: state, government, and power. right? So you have got the idea of what political science is about. So this is the basically crux of definition. As I already said that we'll be coming to our first definition here, right? After completing the slides, but here it is. Political science is a systemic study of the state or government, and here it is power structure making authoritative decision. So this is what Harold gave us, right? Authoritative decisions, who gets what and how, and there was another political scientist as well. They both talked about resources and allocating resources and authoritative decision. So this definition is basically the crux of all definitions, right? So this definition is talking about state. This definition is talking about government. This definition is talking about power and all this. This is the same definition we just talked about. So finally, here we are on the term politics. The word politics is derived from the ancient Greek word polis. Polis is a term used to refer to a city-state. Now, what is city-state? Ancient Greeks had city-states in their country. They were the small city-states, right? They were kind of sovereign in their own way, but not absolute sovereign because this was a new concept. But we will be discussing in the future video what sovereignty is, right? So they had city state like there was Athens, there was Sparta, and basically there were 150 city states existing in the ancient Greek. The citizen of the city state referred to all their activities and affairs as politics, right? So city states, what was city state? City state was basically small states, right? And the meaning and the polis was the name of city state, and everything which was happening in city states and every affair, all the activities of city state were called as politics. And Aristotle is credited as the founder of science of politics because due to his systemic study of the life and activities in the Greek city and city states in his book Politics. You have got the idea about the politics. What is the origin of politics, right? We just discussed derivation of the politics word. It has come from the word polis, and the polis means city states, and the affairs of city states were referred as politics. What is politics in actual in 21st century? So here are some of the definitions, different definitions which defines politics. Politics is an activity, an event, a process, or conflict, a struggle among group of people. Now this is called micropolitics because this is on the individual level. There's no involvement of government here. This is on the individual level, so that is why this is micropolitics. It is a activity, it is an event or process between individuals or the people, between the people where government is not even involved, right? This is what politics is. Another definition is politics is a struggle for governmental power and authority between actors. Now, who are actors? Actors are basically the people who are in government, and if government is involved, we will call it simply micropolitics. Right? What it is, politics is a struggle for governmental power. Right? You should notice here, governmental power. Politics is a struggle for governmental power and authority between actors. The third definition is politics establish ground for rules, norms where conflict in society or country may resolve. See, there are disputes over there and here, and for resolving those disputes, we need politics, right? We need a process. We need administration, right? So politics helps us to resolve these disputes and all this. Now, what does Max Weber says about politics? According to Max Weber, politics is striving for a share of power or for influence on the distribution of power. So basically, he describes politics as a, a share of power, right? Politics is about power and influence on the distribution of power. So it is quite interesting definition of coincide right here. We say that politics is art of influencing, manipulating, and are controlling groups so as to advance the purpose there are the some against opposition about it. So we just discussed that political science is a science or systemic study, but here considered is different. Politics is art of influencing, manipulating, or controlling groups. At I'm mentioning art is something else, science is something else. We'll be discussing in future videos. But early, you should get the idea. According to Quincy Wright, politics is about the power and controlling groups, manipulation, and all this. But why politics at all? Here are four main reasons why politics at all. See, there are limited resources and there are unlimited desires and wants. So what happened there because of this? If there was no politics, what would happen? There will be anarchy everywhere. So politics basically is necessary to exterminate or terminate anarchy in the society, right? What will happen if there was no politics? There are limited resources and unlimited desires. The people with high authority, or the powerful people, will snatch the resources from poor people. To solve this issue, we need what? We need politics, because politics will help us to distribute resources equally. The second reason why politics at all, there are differences of opinions, beliefs, and outlooks, right? Now, because of difference of opinions, disputes may arise. There are people who say that we like capitalist society, right? There are people who say that no, we do not like capitalist society. We want a socialist economy, a socialist country. Because there are difference of opinions, so because of this, disputes arises. And there are different of beliefs. There are people who are Muslim, there are Hindus, and there are people, they are Christians, they are Jewish. So because of this, again, disputes may arise. So to solve these issues, we need politics. Here it is again quite interesting. Some wants to form ideal state and some don't, right? There are Marxists who want to form an ideal state that they say that this will be ideal state and this will be a welfare state where people will live freely and all this. And there are people, there are capitalist people and all this. They say that no, we do not need. And again, because of this different opinion and different beliefs, what happens? Dispute arises, and to solve this, we need politics. There are international disputes as well. There's Kashmir issue. There was Nagorno Karabakh issue. There is Ukraine issue. So we need politics to solve these issues. So here it is this conclusion. Political science provides a theoretical understanding of politics, while politics refers to practical application of the power.